I don't need the guns.
Hey, look at that, we're live. It's Thursday. It's a little bit past 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for This Week at Gear Report, the show where we typically talk about everything that's been published since last week, upcoming reviews, things that are going to be published moving forward. And as of late, we've been bringing in cool brands to talk about their products and let you know about the brands. So what we're going to do, and we just lost one of those cool brands. So that's good,
Oh
though.
no.
He'll be back, okay? Jeremiah from Riton Optics is having some tech difficulties. I think he just dropped. Hopefully he's going to come back. Fortunately, Kat from Global Ordnance anticipated that we may have some issues. Pretty common here that we have issues. So she anticipated that and volunteered to come and fill some time for us at the beginning of the show and tell us about some cool stuff going on as a result of some really uncool stuff that's going on. So was that cryptic enough, you think? Yeah.
Keep everyone guessing. See if anybody can figure it out before I start talking.
Yeah, okay. Well, while we're giving them time for that, Mystic Guns wants us to know that she's first. Okay.
Number one.
First to leave a comment, definitely. First in our hearts, that's yet to be seen. Yeah. Kat just roboted on us, so maybe I'll take the comment away, see if she comes back. I can hear you, Kat. All right. She keeps
Am I roboting?
You sound okay, but the video has paused. So I think you're probably okay to go ahead and talk.
Well, that's sad. Then you can't see how animated I am.
Right. Right.
I guess I'll just start off. So for anybody that hasn't watched the previous episode that I was on with a few of my cohorts, I'm with Kat with Global Ordnance. And if you're unfamiliar with Global Ordnance, you need to get right. We're a supplier of firearms and ammunition commercially, and we actually started back in 2013, primarily in the defense industry. And that's kind of what's leading me to this next point. So we've done a lot of business with Eastern Europe, both imports and exports. And obviously, unless you're living under a rock completely, you know what's going on with Ukraine. And so we've already done everything we possibly can up to this point. Obviously, there's still more work to be done, delivering different things to Ukraine, munitions and supplies and things of that nature. I don't want to get too detailed on it, but we're trying to get more in there. We're looking for equipment and medical supplies, simple stuff that you wouldn't even think of, like just vaccines. Right now, we have launched can you still hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, everything went kind of silent for me. So we have launched a fundraising campaign. If you visit globalordnance.com, it's right there on the front page. So our whole purpose with the fundraising campaign is to help us help Ukraine. We'll be using the funds to buy different equipment. So, I mean, helmets and body armor and even some things like transportation to get people in and out. We've already been helping as far as, moving personnel as needed. There you go. The Ukraine Humanitarian Relief Fund. So this is a very personal cause for us. As I said before, we've done business with Ukraine in the past. We signed officially an agreement with Ukrainians back in August, and that was to both get supplies for the U.S., get supplies for them, different levels of things. We have friends and family there. Once again, doing business over there for so long, you start to have some really close connections with people. One of our employees, her brother is actually in the military in Ukraine. So very deep personal cause for us. We're just looking to try to raise funds to be able to provide things that they need right now. And you can see there's a big fat donate button. If you can't donate, sharing this information helps too. If you go to our Facebook page and you share a post, it helps broaden the reach. If you share the link with somebody you know, if we can just kind of spread it around too. Thank you for putting that in there. The link should be right here in the comments. I wasn't very well rehearsed for this, obviously, and it's been a little crazy. Everybody's been working a lot and hard, and it's, some people have to switch back and forth, and we've had some technical difficulties in our office as well. So anything you can do to help. We're potentially also looking at selling certain specific items that 100% of the proceeds will go to the Ukraine. Don't have exact details on it. It's probably going to be, firearms and ammunition. So get something good and do something good at the same time. Just make sure you follow us to keep up to date with all of our activities and things. We've partnered with the Pinellas Community Foundation, so thank you to them. They were very, very cool with working with us. Obviously, we deal with firearms and ammunition, so that can be a little touchy for certain people.
Right.
But PCF has been great, and they're fully supporting us in everything we're trying to do. So that's the long and short of it, I think. And thank you, Gear Report, also, because I reached out to these guys today because I said, hey, I need to get the word out to people. And I've been texting friends and emailing everybody links. And they were super cool and inviting me to be on the show for a few minutes so that I could tell everyone about it.
Yeah, we really think that everything we do is really, really important, right? And then you run into a conflict that is it's killing people, it's displacing people, it's ruining families and reshaping the geopolitical situation, and it kind of puts things in perspective. So we're happy to help any way we can. And I know this isn't much, but at least we can get the word out a little bit. And here, make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Yes. So, wrong one. The Facebook page for Global Ordnance. So I showed the web page earlier, and then here's the Facebook page. If you want to go find them, you can see what the little logo is you're looking for, the GO with the two flags, and follow and share their post about this to, like Kat said, help get some reach around it, and it's going to help feed the algorithm, or Al Gore's rhythm, or whichever rhythm we're going after.
However you say it. Yeah, that'll take you to our page where you'll find the links to donate through PCF. In fact, I found out not only do they take like a normal credit card donation, like everybody does, but they'll actually accept stocks and cryptocurrency.
Wow.
So I thought that was really cool.
Huh.
You have to contact them. They haven't got it totally set up for doing online quickly, but
but
that was pretty neat.
Awesome. Okay, so I thought I saw Jeremiah pop in, but I do not see him now.
We'll just tell everyone about how awesome Riton Optics is while he's gone.
We could do that. Yeah. So I mentioned before we went live that this is a new broadcast platform for us, and so I always kind of struggle to keep up with everything from an administrative standpoint. Clicking on stuff, it's even worse right now because I'm like, I don't even remember which button to push for some of this. Okay, I know this one though. First, guess what, G23? That was a big lie.
Not today, buddy. Not today.
Not today at all. Well, at least he said hi to me though. All right, Facegram, Instagram hate me and ban me for life, so I can't help. Well, you can help though, because we showed the website where you can go and click the donate button, and I'm and
Twitter and LinkedIn.
Yeah, maybe those are options. But you can go direct to the website and donate there if you like. And I do want to call out that G23, he does donate to causes. He'll go on the Ghost Tactical. He will make donations. Anyone who does a super chat on one of his shows, he makes donations to help send care packages to armed forces folks who are in the field. And I have seen G23 make donations to that multiple times. So he wasn't just blowing smoke there. I think he actually does make donations. First mail. I'm going to assume that's true. I'm not going to challenge you on that because I don't want to see any proof. So we're just going to assume yes.
How the show gets weird, part 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we have so many ways to get weird. It's not even funny. All right. We can get rid of that banner. And I keep checking my phone to see if Jeremiah has said anything. He keeps texting me with stuff, but I have not seen anything about how he's going to get in here. So why don't we go ahead and Kat, you're welcome to hang out. You're welcome to sign off. You do whatever you like. You are losing the main focus of the screen, though. We're going to switch to Riton Optics and talk about. We'll see if we can just give a little backstory here because I think it's kind of funny about how this kind of played out.
It is.
It was last January. We were in South Florida for the Fire Expo, and we hung out with the Riton Optics folks down there, including Tony, who was the director of marketing at the time. And he offered, hey, how can we work together? What can we do? Do you have any advertising? And so we settled on sponsoring this show for a year, and we put a number out there that would help cover our hosting platform. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. So they did it. Right. 12 months ago, Riton Optics stepped up to be the first sponsor we have had for a show like this. And then at some point, Tony left. I noticed I saw on LinkedIn today that he's over with Pappas now at Dead Air. So that's got to be entertaining, to be honest with you. I don't know that I could deal with working with Pappas all the time. I'd have
ripped every day, dude.
I'd have ripped abs from just that deep laughing all the time. It'd be like doing crunches all day, every day.
Oh my gosh,
that would be awesome.
Get anything done.
Yeah, so we walk up to the booth beside Kat at the SHOT Show. Riton Optics was right beside Global Ordnance, and we get there, and I'm like, "Hey, where's Tony?" "Oh, Tony doesn't work here anymore." Like, oh, okay. Well, come to find out, no one there actually knew that they sponsored our show. And I'm like, that explains why you guys never came on the show. Like, we've invited over and over and no one showed up. And well, apparently they weren't checking his emails either because nothing. So this is the last show of their 12 months before we switch over to a new sponsor that we're going to announce next week. They're going to be on with us next week, and we'll announce that then. So it's one of those kind of oh geez, here goes the neighborhood. It's one of those bittersweet that if we can get his tech issues sorted out and get Jeremiah from Riton Optics on with us, then we will have that kind of farewell discussion with them about their products. We were talking about you a minute ago, Ghost.
I knew my ears were ringing and my nose was itching. I don't know. I just,
Yeah.
I'm sure it was. I literally just walked in the door, but I'm sure it was all nice about me.
It was all pleasant.
Well, it was actually in the context of this note here that G23, we put up, you know what, since you're here and we're still waiting on Jeremiah to figure his stuff out, let me share the screen again.
Spread the word, Jeff.
Share. Yeah, we were talking about Kat came to tell us about the Ukraine Humanitarian Relief Fund that Global Ordnance has set up. And we were showing the donate now. But when G23 signed in, he had missed this part, and we were on the Facebook page. And he said, well, I'm banned on Facebook, which was a surprise to all of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So I had said, you can donate directly through the website. And that's where I mentioned, he's not just saying that. Jeremiah's about to join us. I can see him now. All right, he was messing with the camera. I think he's done. We're going to bring him up. There he is. All right, excellent.
Hey guys.
We can see him,
and
hear him. That's awesome. So
welcome.
The context was we were talking about how G23 actually does donate. So
yes, he does.
And I'm not trying to put pressure on him to go donate to the Global Ordnance, to their Ukraine relief fund, but he tends to be good for that kind of thing.
It's a good call.
He's a good person, good man, good man.
That's what I keep hearing. Yep.
Although he's a 40 lover, I don't hold that against him, but it is what it is.
I don't understand that. I mean, when 9mm is available, how could you like 40?
I mean, you can still like it, but you can also like other things. They're not mutually exclusive, right?
That's a good point.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Do you only have one caliber? I don't care. Do you have like 90 guns that are all the same?
No, but I refuse to have a 40.
I don't have any 40.
Exactly. I was not dropped as a child. I did not wear a helmet on the short bus. I'm just saying.
But and I've mentioned this before. I ended up with a SIG P226 in 40, and SIG sent me a caliber change kit that has a new slide and barrel and spring assembly, and it's in 9. So now I have both. And the cool thing there is that when you couldn't get 9mm ammo last year, I get 40 pretty much everywhere. So that was
there's a reason why. And the other good thing about 40 is it can be converted to 357 SIG. Just saying.
There we go.
So funny story way back when. I'll make it quick. Back in like 2013, 2014, when you couldn't get more than 3 boxes of ammo at a time at Walmart or wherever, we would go in like every payday and we would just buy however much we could get, right? So the two of us would walk in, my husband and I'd grab 3 boxes of something, he'd grab 3 boxes of something. And when we started running out of being able to buy like normal 223 or 9mm or 45, we'd walk in and be like, okay, what can we get? So somehow I ended up on this pile of 40, but I didn't actually own a 40 caliber anything.
Right.
So like
did you buy one?
So like 3 years later, I went to a charity shoot, and I always buy like raffle tickets and stuff because, that's what you're supposed to do. So I ended up stuffing raffle tickets into a Glock 23 and won it. and then gets even better, never shot it. He ended up carrying it around for a couple years and then sold it to just go buy another 9mm so that we could just have all one caliber.
The American dream,
I know,
right there. That's the American dream.
I still have to play devil's advocate though.
Yeah, you had them all in the Lord's caliber though, so that's good. That's 9mm, by the way.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you for clarifying.
Don't let anyone tell you it's 45.
10mm close.
Yeah, speaking of which, Kat, we need to talk sometime after the show.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so I did hear Jeremiah. I see Jeremiah. He is here. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we may need you slightly closer to the microphone because you were kind of. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Thank you for being here. I don't know. Were you able to hear when I was given the backstory on this, or were you?
No, I just moved into a new house and my internet's being weird. My computer's weird. I couldn't find cords to hook things up. I came real close to just throwing my laptop through the window. So I didn't hear anything, but I'm here now.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for not throwing the laptop through the window. That would have made this a pretty awkward discussion about Riton Optics if you had not made it. So it's good you're here. So it's kind of, I'll tell the story again real quick that in January of last year, we met, we'd already done some work with Riton a few years ago, but we met Tony down at the Fire Expo in Florida. Yeah. Down by Fort Myers. And long story short, looking for ways to work together, he said, hey, you got any ad space on your site or anything? And we came to, hey, we got this weekly live show. Why don't you sponsor that? And like, okay, good. So he signed up and we worked out a deal and we got things started. And, he quit responding to emails and he never showed up to actually come on the show. So then we get to SHOT Show and we walk into the booth and find Emily and we're talking, hey, where's Tony? Oh, he doesn't work here anymore. So we eventually figured out that I don't think anyone at Riton Optics was actually aware that Riton was the sponsor of our weekly show. For at this point, it was 10 and a half months. So so we said, you know what, we got to get you guys on. So so with that, auspicious introduction of I will flog Tony next time I see him, for leaving you guys in the dark on that. But we're dying to learn things like how the brand gets started, where did it come from, where are you going, what space are you working in, and I'd love to hear. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about what your role is, and then you can dive into some of the company background, and we can start going through products and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, first, let me say Tony's on great terms with us. We had a director of marketing that had to leave abruptly because of some family things, and Tony just took that position overnight.
Yeah.
So no hard feelings, and we can understand how he had to drop stuff because a lot was dumped on his head overnight.
Oh, sure.
My role, I believe I'm the first employee at Riton Optics. So
Oh, wow.
I've done a little bit of everything, throughout the history, about a 7-year history. Currently director of product development, which is where I always wanted to be, which is where I asked to be. And finally here to kind of play with new toys and draw new reticles and things like that. Background for me, just a lifetime hunter and shooter. My kid's godfather is a retired Navy SEAL. He did 26 years. We teach all over the country together. So I get to hear from a lot of people what they like, what they don't like, which has helped us kind of develop some products along the way as well. So I'm nothing special. I'm just a regular guy. I keep telling I need a patch on my backpack that's like regular guy.
Yeah. Well, you'll fit in here as well, because I mean, Kat's kind of special. AJ's kind of special, but the rest of us, we're just kind of normal people. So yeah, sorry,
Thanks.
TJ. Yeah,
Regular guys.
I've never been called normal, so I appreciate that, Jeff, especially from you.
yeah. Hey, don't take it out of context. Come on.
Okay. Well, thanks.
But so thank you for coming on and fighting through the tech issues. We really do appreciate that. So how about some background on the company? Like, what space does Riton look to fill in the market?
Well, let me back up just one step further. I think it's important to note a couple things. The owner and CEO of Riton, Brady Speth, he's an Air Force veteran. He did go overseas, did his thing. He came back and became a federal police officer, so Capitol Police. So dignitary protection for the legislative branch and then to protect the Capitol. During that time, he was consulting and doing some stuff for some optics companies. And he decided, why not just do it himself? And he called me. He is first cousins with my wife. So I guess I say we're family. I just put the air quotes in there. And he had me start testing things. My background was environmental remediation. I owned and operated businesses that did that, but I love to shoot. I had a 378 Weatherby Magnum, and I was like, if you got a scope, I got a gun that breaks scopes. So I couldn't break the scope. I was impressed, and I said, maybe I want to do a career change. And so we kind of started down that path. As far as what we're looking at as in the marketplace, we want it all, of course, but the middle part of the market is where everybody spends that money, right? Like $300 to $700, let's say. There's a lot of people buying optics in that range. So we went. I look so noble in that picture. Why do I look so
dignified?
Yeah, I haven't even seen that picture. So we wanted to literally, and again, the owner was, as a kid, he grew up on a ranch in Montana. And, when he kind of got on in life and was doing better, he was like, it costs a fortune to have a nice scope. And it's like ridiculous. And so we set out to literally make the best scopes you possibly could at the lowest price point and give the best possible customer service. And that's what we've been after. We're not after anybody particular. We want We want all the market share we could possibly get. And we have scopes that are sub $200 all the way up to over $2,000. So I feel like we have something kind of for everybody. The way we broke it up in the beginning years, I was doing all the technical calls and just, a lot, early business. You wear lots of hats.
Sure.
And people would always call me, and it might even be friends, and they're like, "Hey, I need a scope." And I was like, "Okay, like I need some more. Give me some more. Like I need a scope, doesn't cover it." So I would say, "How much money do you have and what do you want to do with it?" And so we changed over time. In 2020, I drew all the reticles in every scope starting in 2020 because we wanted to do what we felt like worked and what like people could use. And we changed the way that you do the buying system. So we have these categories 1, 3, 5, and 7. 1 being the least expensive with the least amount of features, so on and so forth, up to 7. So now you have like the how much money do you have? And then we have a primal for hunting, tactics for the tactical usage, and then conquer for precision long range. So if money's no object, you're like, I want a 7 line and I want conquer because I want a 0 stops, first focal plane, all the bells and whistles and those kind of things. So we tried to really make the buying process simple because it can be daunting. And, like with other companies, there's just random names. Like It's the XXX line HD4. And you're like, I have no idea what that means. I don't.
Right.
So we really did try to make it simple. As you can see on there, you pick a price point, you pick a usage, and then scopes are going to pop up. This Patriot Optic was our first run at building them here in the United States.
Yeah.
So everything has Japanese HD glass in it at a minimum. The 7 lines all have Japanese HD ED glass, extra low dispersion. And the Patriot Optic is Japanese components assembled in the United States. It was our first try at doing that. We're a veteran-owned company, veteran law enforcement-owned company. So we wanted to do that, and we would like to continue down that road. But this is terrible. I'll probably get beat up for this, but everybody's super American until their pocketbook comes out, and then they're a little bit more okay doing some other stuff. So I said it. Sorry, everybody. It's just it is what it is. I do it sometimes too with the TV. I don't go look for an American-made TV. I go look for the best deal I can get on TV. So we'll continue down the U.S. built line, but as we get bigger and people can trust in us. So we have a lifetime warranty, but what does that mean if your company's been open for a year, right? Nobody cares if you have a lifetime warranty. So we're 7 years in now, and we're hoping, maybe by 10, 12 years, we can start doing some more stuff in the United States. Would be awesome. Even, employing veterans and having them put stuff together would be super cool. So that's kind of like a brief overview, but we really listened to the customers, like the reticles we drew, the magnification ranges, the functionalities. Like people wanted a throw lever, so I put a throw lever in. And then as soon as we came out with throw levers, they were like, "Hey, can I cut this throw lever off? Because I don't like it." And I was like, "No, but I mean, yeah, at the same time." So now it's an integrated removable throw lever with a cap that you can put in there. And that isn't us. What I like to say often is like, we made the soup, but like we got the ingredients from customers. We're taking, and companies aren't that way anymore, right? Like, not to name any names of companies, but they do whatever they want to do, and you buy it, or you don't buy it. That's it. So we tried to be a company that's like, if you ask for it and you want it and people are willing to buy it, we'll make it and we'll have it here quickly. So, I mean, that's the overview, I guess. I don't know what other questions I could answer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, let's see, what would, something I keep reminding myself is we have a distinguished panel here. I got to keep reminding myself, ask them questions. So, from the panel, who has some questions about Riton?
I don't know. I was waiting for someone else to go. I have been looking at Riton for a while, and I love the fact that you're in that price range that you can afford, and you're not having to downgrade quality for a good price. When you start talking about the Japanese HD glass, very few people that are kind of novices into optics realize that Japanese HD glass is widely considered the best out there. So the fact that you're putting that quality of glass into an optic that is reasonable and it's cost effective and your value versus cost is great. Besides like LPVOs and all of that, have y'all? I know you probably don't get this a lot, but the holographic side of things is really starting to come along in the market as far as people have been talking about them and all that. Have y'all thought about jumping into the holographic movement yet?
Yeah, we've been down that path for a while and been playing with some things. We're trying to do something different. In every product that we bring out, we would like to do something a little different, right? Whether and different means it's a better price point and a higher quality. It's a new technique in putting things together, a new technique in purging, new removable eyepieces for spotting scopes with different reticles, whatever it is, we want to do something a little different. And that one's been a little tough. That price point for the holographics is, I think personally, multiple reticles on a holographic sight would be awesome. And I would love to see, some things like that happen. It takes a little time, but yeah, that's definitely a topic that we have played with. I can't say tons more, but we are definitely talking and thinking and working on that.
I do like a circle dot, don't get me wrong, but I think if the idea of the cross reticle or the circle cross or just a plain dot, having a holograph, the idea of having a holographic with different reticle options built in,
Yeah.
that could be game changing for sure.
Yeah, and it's tough to do some of this stuff, but man, it's worth it when it hits. And for those that don't know, I mean, some of the pluses of the holographic is if you have stigmatism, then a holographic sight isn't going to cause that kind of starburst. If you have an LED kind of red light, if light comes from behind you, sometimes that can be kind of problematic. If dirt gets in front of your emitter, that's why closed emitter red dots are becoming a little more popular, right? Because if you got a gun and I'm not supposed to be real careful, clear and safe, YouTube, clear and safe.
And I'm not actually seeing that. Are you guys seeing video for Jeremiah?
I think his video is frozen, but the audio sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep talking. But if you're down in the mud and stuff, and you get any dirt in front of that emitter, then you don't have a red dot on your pistol anymore. So yeah, those are some positives, and I think traditionally different colors, like if you had red and green available or multiple reticles available, it was seen as cheap. And that was the place where people were doing that, was super cheap. You can have red, green colors, right? And we're finally getting out of that where you can make a high quality product and offer multiple reticles and it doesn't seem cheap. So that's pretty recent.
Jeff, can I follow up real quick? I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but you mind? Okay, so two things real quick. One, another great advantage, and this is the reason why a lot of the military has gone to holographic, is a lot of people don't realize if the glass is broken, the reticle still works because it is not magnified onto the glass. It is a projected up, so you can run a holographic without glass, which is really cool. Not that hopefully no one breaks their glass, but if it happens, it happens. But you mentioned the colors, and this is something that brought up to me by Holosun a couple years ago when they went to like yellow or yellow reticle, and I thought it was very interesting. They started going to yellow because they said that the doctors have said that yellow is the one color that colorblind people can actually pick up. And I didn't know, is there truth to that? Because I thought that was really strange.
I haven't heard that, the colorblind part. I know a lot of friends that are colorblind and they can't see yellow either. So maybe it's a specific hue or pitch. I will tell you, green, from teaching, I get to teach all over, and it's with, this cool Navy SEAL sniper, and they got all these tricks of the trade, but your eyes get really tired as you're looking through reticles, as you're looking through scopes. Red is not ideal. It really isn't. Green is probably the most ideal color for your eyes. You'll hear guys say, look at the grass, don't look at the sun, but look up at a blue sky. Those kind of things relax your eye. So I do know that the green is probably my top pick for colors. I don't know about colorblind. I bet people can't see yellow, but I know Hollow Sun's doing pretty good. So, maybe they know something.
Like I said, I don't know the validity of it. They were just talking about that one time, and I was like, I've never heard that before. So I never really asked anyone else in the optics world that. Again, I totally forgot about it, but I was like, I wonder if that's true or not. You never know. It might have been just a marketing thing for them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things dealing with colors as far as like the green is the red makes you a little it's a lot angrier. The yellow is the first color your eyes are drawn to. So it's like you see yellow, boom. That's why warning signs are yellow, stuff like that. So it's there's a lot of like the technology and the color end of it. It studies in that. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
it might be their logo's yellow because it's like the sun and whatnot, and they decided that was good. So, listen, I'll tell you. Listen, hopefully I don't get in trouble. I'm probably gonna get in trouble. There's a lot of things that happen that are accidents, right? A lot of really cool things weren't like the way we planned to do them. They worked, and you get to have fun. I mean, there's a bunch of. We have a reticle that I drew for a 5-25, and it's a half minute of angle Christmas tree. That's busy. That's a pretty business, and I tried to make it opaque. And for the 22 kind of rimfire guys doing those competitions, making really small adjustments, I thought this could be something big for them. And ownership's like, okay, I get to name all the reticles too, right? Ownership says, what's the name of that reticle? And I said, BAF. And they're like, what does that stand for? And I was like, well, everybody's going to see it. And they're going to say, that thing's busy as F. And he's like, so I'm in the interview and I'm supposed to say, and I'm like, no. It's the ballistic acquisition first focal plane reticle for the rest of the world. But we're just going to beat them to it. We're just going to beat them to it. We're going to call it the BAF. And they're going to be like, I know what BAF should stand for. So, lots of fun things happen, when you get to own your own businesses and do your own things.
That sounds like a SHOT Show patch, possibly.
Oh, we've got a few. We've got a few kind of possibilities. There it is. It's as busy as fudge right there.
I kind of like it, actually. I mean, it's busy, but I mean, if you're accustomed to looking at different reticles, I mean, it's busy, but it's organized.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the opacity of a reticle on a flat screen like this. That's really important in something like that. If it's not super dark, then it's easy to focus on. And that's a 5-25 that scopes in. About 12 power or so, you start to be able to see through the reticle and you can focus past it. And then you can choose to parallax kind of focus back on it with your eyes. So it isn't for everybody, right? No reticle is. But a big part of what we did was, guys, I took like a 3-day class on the Tremor reticle, the Tremor 3. I still don't know how to use that reticle. and I ask people all the time, they're like, I probably shouldn't be like plugging other reticles, but I ask people all the time, what's your favorite reticle? And they're like, I like the Tremor 3. And I'm like, do you know how to use the Tremor 3? And they're like, nope. Not one person have I ran into that's like, I know it perfectly. I know it upside down and backwards. So then I was like, why do you want it then? And they're like, well, it's the cool thing to have. So, maybe eventually we have it, but right now we're trying to make stuff that works and that you don't have to take a 3-day class on to figure out. It's a half minute of angle dots. If you want to get real specific, the dots are say 0.2, and then you can like use the outside of the dot, one edge, the top or bottom of dots. You can in between, you can get pretty specific with the reticle if you have the right training, but like third wind dot over for a guy running with a weapon, kind of by the time I find that dot, I can't find the guy. So I was like, let's just make reticles that are simple for anybody, but if you wanted to get super specific, you absolutely could. And that's kind of there's a cool reticle on the 7 Conquer 3-24 by 56. There's kind of a cool story with that one too. So
okay. I'm in 5, so I got to get out of this and go back.
I'll start
he's
talking
lost.
about,
That's it.
No, I'm gonna get there.
Everybody has had a high power
There it is.
first focal plane Christmas tree reticle.
Which one did you say?
3-24 by 56.
56. Okay.
Yeah. So if you've had a scope like this, that's a high magnification, and it's first focal plane, and it's a Christmas tree reticle, What's that reticle worth on 3 power?
Yeah.
Not a darn thing for the most part, nothing. On 4, on 5, on 6, still really almost useless. But what about PRS shooters? Maybe they're dialing way back in, way back out, even the 22 kind of shooters. So this Odin reticle has this post, like an old German number 4 reticle. So on minimum magnification, you have it's just a post, but the idea is on low magnification, I'm not doing super precision work. I should be able to see it and make contact real easy. But then when you zoom in on it, it's skeletonized and has the same subtensions all the way through it as the rest of the reticle. So it doesn't clog everything up, because that's the other thing that happens. If it's thick enough to use on low power, it's too thick on high power.
Right.
And vice versa. So we kind of proud of that one. I think it's a cool way to get past that. I haven't seen a lot of people do that. So my daughter just took this reticle, and I can't see if you guys can see me. I don't think so. I have a Voodoo 22 long rifle, and we went out with Voodoo into the Utah West Desert, and she had 3 impacts at 1,000 yards with a 22 long rifle, and this scope right here was the scope. So 30 shots. She shot 30 shots, and she had 3 impacts, and it was like a 36 by 36 inch plate. So by most people's standards, you shot 30 times, but anybody that shot a 22 can start to respect 1,000. It's a 5-second time of flight. Our max ordnance was like 312 feet. So my daughter was like, give me a visual. And I'm like, you could stand a football field up on end into the sky. You would shoot over it. You'd be shooting over the top of a football field.
Oh my goodness.
That target. So this is a good one. It works.
Just think about a 5-second travel time with a 22 LR. That's pretty fun. That's awesome.
We had 0 wind. It was like the perfect day. There was no wind, and I still had 11 MRAD. There she is. I still had 11 MRAD of left to right travel with perfect conditions, perfect day. You can see I got that scope, how canted it is. That's a 200
my goodness
base.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
that was
something
cool.
else.
Yeah, we had a good time with that. There's a video. We have video of the whole thing and video at the target. Right on will release here pretty soon. But I was going to go do this. I've been doing tons of long range stuff, and I thought, my daughter is an amazing shooter because she doesn't have the ego the rest of us have that gets in the way of just listening, bad habits and things. So she trusts me. She just listens. And so she's incredible. Like she may not know, how to calculate Coriolis combined with which way we're shooting on the planet and which way the spin drift is in the wind.
Oh my, yeah.
But if you
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I don't either.
She listens, and she tore it up. I thought it would even be cooler, right, if my 15-year-old daughter shot 1,000 yards with a 22, and
wow,
sure enough, she banged it up. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that. Any other questions or comments? Or as you could tell, I like talking about shooting and optics. So.
Oh yeah. Well, this post attracted some shady people. So Jeremy Brito here, that's a shady character, which I realize doesn't make. If you don't know Jeremy, then that probably isn't as funny as if you do know him. But yeah. So anyhow, that's pretty cool. So, what is new for this year? Like, if let's just pretend that the folks here watching weren't able to come by the booth at SHOT Show and see what new stuff you have. What kind of things were you showing off there? Most proud of this year?
Yeah, so when we first started, we had some BDC reticles, a mil-dot reticle, and just really basic stuff. And I kept telling ownership over and over, I was like, we got to do more reticles. And then we made all these fancy reticles, and as you can guess what happened, the older hunters were like, do you not have just a duplex? And I was like pulling my hair out again. I was like, oh my gosh. So what we did for the new year, a couple things. We have a 1 primal 3 to 9 by 40. We had a 3 to 9 by 40, but it didn't. The mounting length wasn't really long. So this one is a long body. So like if you had a model 700, 300 Win Mag or something, and it had an open space, you know, over the bolt, it would be hard to mount the smaller one. So we came out with that 3 to 9. Really popular demand. We did a 1 primal 4 to 12 by 50. That's just a duplex with a dot in the middle, and the dot illuminates. We did the same thing in a 3 primal 3 to 12 by 56. Again, just amazing price point for some of this stuff, but this is what people ask for. We did another, we have a 1 primal 4 to 16, but we did a 3 primal also, if you wanted to upgrade to a little bit bigger tube and things like that. Most of the people were excited to see our 15 by 45 by 60 spotting scope. It's something that's been lacking in our line for quite some time. It is HD ED glass. It is under 3 pounds. It's very compact. I mean, I've been using it for about 2 or 3 years, spot and trace. I've spotted out over 2 miles impacts.
Oh my goodness!
Wow,
It's phenomenal, and it's very light.
it's pretty. It's very beautiful looking too.
Thank you. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that. Something that would go with that is, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, and so that's a sunshade too. The black part over the top there extends out. There's a built-in sunshade, and then there's only one focus lever on it, which is kind of nice. You have to have a really accurate, amazing single focus if you're going to do it. You know, most people will have like a big focus and then a fine-tuned focus. We have an amazing focusing system in there. We kind of went away from what they traditionally do. You notice our logo is blacked out. And, you know, because I think some people are tired of like just huge, you know, markers on the side of everything they have screaming. So we just kind of like backed it down, toned it down a little bit. And that's grip. For the most part, that's where I grabbed the scope to move it around, turn it. So we did that. So yeah, that one's awesome. We have a new carbon fiber tripod. Same thing.
Really?
It's under 3 pounds. But it has a max load of 33 pounds. That's almost unheard of to be that small. So for reference, you could have our spotting scope and tripod, and it would be under 6 pounds total package.
Oh, man.
Nice.
I've gone to I can't find me a carbon fiber tripod that I like for PRS. I've tried a couple different ones, and they're either way too expensive or just they're not good quality.
Yeah.
I've actually gone to binos instead of a spotting scope because it takes way too long when you've only got a minute or two. But when you get to the new stage to identify targets and all that, it takes way too long.
Yeah.
We did some cool little touches on this one too. I hadn't seen people do it, and I kind of took a chance, but it has our same Pantone green, like on the front leg there, that R logo. That's green. The ball head socket that comes with it is the same green as our binoculars. It's the same green as our, because I thought it's supposed to be kind of camouflage. Well, if it's all the same color, it almost isn't. So I thought, let's add some little spice to it. So it's not huge logoed, but it's kind of cool. I thought that I would be happy to sport that thing anywhere I went. Yeah,
I like that. And the spotting scope being a single focus, that's going to be, for PRS guys, like I said, that's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're proud of that one. We also, we have some new 10 by 42 binoculars. Our binoculars have been wildly popular. Back in 2017, I was on a team with that same SEAL I was talking to you about, and we broke the world record for distance. And the mirage was so terrible. Everybody had these spotting scopes, and I just had these 10 power binoculars. I was calling. That was a 16-second time of flight on that.
Goodness.
And we had 5.
Are you talking about Charlie?
Yeah.
Charlie's a good friend of mine. Really good friend of mine. Yeah.
That's my kid's godfather. I told
him. Tell him Trey
funny.
says hey. Yeah, we talk all the time. He's been on the show a couple times, and I went down to Texas a few years ago and shot with him for a weekend. Charlie's a phenomenal human being.
He is. He's a big redneck, is what he is first.
Yes, but he's also a phenomenal cook.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If you look on any of my like social media, you'll see he's like teaching my daughter how to like devein shrimp, and he's like he uses words I don't even know what they are. I'm like, sure, let's do a roux. whatever that is. I'm down. I'm just clean up. I'll just clean up and give you what you asked for. But yeah.
Like you've got this 6'4" giant of a dude that's a SEAL sniper, trained some of the best snipers in history, and he's like the most soft-spoken, like, hey, I'd rather cook than shoot kind of a guy. It's crazy.
He's a super kind human being. He's a very diverse person, quite honestly. And you don't know it if you just run into him. He's kind of a semi-unapproachable big dude with a mullet. And so
a big mullet. A big mullet. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
When I'm calling wind, I'm just like, hey, take that hair tie out, man. I need my mullet wind meter so I can see what's going on.
Nice.
The binoculars. So yeah, I was with Charlie on that team when we did that. We changed them up a little bit. There's no picture. The difference is they were a single hinge before. And if you drop your binos down the mountain and they get tweaked even just a little bit, it messes with your brain because you got two different focus points. Your eyes are kind of ski-wampus. So this is a dual hinge, just a little sturdier version of what we had before. Moving on, you guys, anybody heard of Clint Smith with Thunder Ranch?
Yeah,
he's my hero. I'm not gonna lie, he's my hero.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. So honor, like crazy honor for me. He calls and says, let's do a scope together. I want you to draw the reticle. I want it to be a second focal plane green 1-6. And I said, okay, what do you want the reticle to be? And I can't actually say what he said because he cusses violently. You would think he's angry at his nicest times, is the way that he talks. But he basically said, I want a 25-yard dot and a 100-yard dot, and that's about it. And then the rest of his team called and said, we want wind dots, we want PCs out to 500, we want all these things. So I called them and said, I can kind of do that. Let's see. So pull that reticle up. I should probably talk about stuff other than reticle. So the green dot in the middle there.
Interesting.
I'm digging that.
25-yard dot. That's 25.
Wow.
If you zero the center of the reticle at 100, that's your 25-yard dot. So the dot's 100 yards, a 55 grain, 5.56, 16-inch barrel, just average 5.56 gas gun is what it's based upon. I took the average temperature, barometric pressure, altitude for every city in the United States of America, and I averaged them because I was like, I don't know what else to do, because that's the problem with the BDC sometimes is different altitudes. And basically Clint said, so it doesn't work anywhere. I was like, thanks, bud. Sure. But what we did is really cool. Center of the dot's 100, just under the dot's 200, top of the black line, 300. The first horizontal line is 400, and then 500 is the last one. But the 500-yard line, if you go out to the left, the end of that line is a full value 5-mile-an-hour wind, and the green dot is full value 10-mile-an-hour wind, and it works the same all the way up. So, and then it does a lot. That head. That center dot would be a head at 100 yards. You can do shoulders with just using one side of the BDC thing. It does it's like I mentioned earlier, it needs to be simple for everyone to use. But if you wanted to get, I want to range something, I want to see how big, it does a lot of that stuff also. So just proud that he even allowed us to co-brand this and work with him. So super proud of that one.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, I didn't think I was going to be able to do what everybody wanted. But for Clint, clear 100-yard and clear 25. No questions asked, no BS, simple to see, no problems. And then for the rest of the crew, wind dots, full values, 5-10 miles an hour winds, all that kind of stuff. So kind of a unique reticle, easy, but you can get crazy with it if you want. Moving down in the Conquer line, we have a 6-24 by 50 Conquer. This is because everybody wants the least expensive, high power, first focal plane, Christmas tree, illuminated, 0 stops. But then there's another one. Let me see. If you look, let's see, there should be a drop-down menu where you can pick. That's the second focal plane one. There's
Okay.
choose
You
options.
want me to come back
No,
here or
no, go to where
stay
you
in
were.
here? Okay.
And then scroll down right there where it says choose option above add to cart.
Got it. Yep.
There's a first focal plane. There it is.
There we go.
So here you go. You can either have a first or a second focal plane, 6 to 24 by 50. They both have 0 stops, but one of them's first focal plane with the Christmas tree reticle and 0 stops and all that jazz. So that's a new one. I think. What's the price point on the first focal plane one there? See, that's $499. So
yeah.
Honestly, if you see MSRP, I mean, all of y'all have been doing this long enough, right? Take about 30% off that MSRP, 25%. That's what you're going to buy it for in a store.
Wow.
You're looking, at a low $300 first focal plane, Japanese HD glass, 0 stops, all that jazz, illuminated. So it's a good deal. It's a really, it's a really effective, usable scope. Go ahead.
I want to make sure I don't want to step on any toes. I'll raise my hand so I don't want the teacher to get mad. But
I love the fact where I can see you put your hand up. So
okay, so I love the fact that you're implementing the 0 stops in a lot of your optics, because I know that's a lot of people won't use them. But if you're moving from a CQB or down to a longer range or anything else, I mean, in the long range game, a 0 stop is crucial. But I think that people forget to implement that maybe in a maybe an assault rifle CQB thing, because you can go between different magnifications depending on what you're doing. So I love the fact that you're doing a 0 stop, not just on long range stuff, but stuff that you could use for CQB or anything like that. That's really cool.
And we do everything 0 resettable. Also, even if it doesn't have a 0 stop, you can 0 reset the turret. And Charlie calls the redneck 0 stop. If you don't have a 0 stop, you sight your rifle in, you pull your turret off, you put it on 0, and you just dial that thing down till it bottoms out. And you count how many times you went past 0, and there you go. You'll always know where your 0 is. It's usually twice. So yeah, that's a
the 0 stop is really cool. I haven't seen too many. Actually, I don't remember seeing any LPVOs really with a 0 stop. So that's kind of that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll do the LPVO with it. A big one I think will be popular is this 5 Conquer 4 to 28 by 56. Same thing, kind of. This one, I'm a reticle guy. I gotta figure out new things to talk about than reticles. But awesome 0 stops in this one. Very usable, clean, reticle. Fair amount of internal travel, illuminated. I think a lot of people are going to dig this one. And again, this is probably around $1,000 scope, under $1,000 if you go to your local store and buy that.
Yeah.
4 to 28 by 56, 34 millimeter tube, HD glass. And if you'll notice, I don't know if it's on the banner. See under our name, Riton, see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that we've changed that twice now. See the difference is because have any of you ever seen what HD means? What is high density glass? Where's the line in the sand that says, yes, this is high density glass, and no, this is not high density glass? My guess is nobody has ever seen that, right? So you just have to see the difference. Literally, it's cliche, but it's like everyone's saying HD now. It's like this catchphrase, but you really can see the difference. And so at this price point, this thing's pretty killer. Probably my most favorite scope in the last new one is it's a 7 Conquer 3 to 18 by 50. As a long range shooter, I don't really get over about 18 power. I need a good field of view. I don't want to magnify mirage. I need to be able to see where my impacts are. So same thing. We've had this one. This has been super popular with hunters. Actually, this one. But when we designed this scope, we came up with an erector assembly inside of it, and we have 46 MRAD of internal travel. It's like 158 MOA of total travel. So if you'll do the same thing and scroll down, you can choose an option here. So we took one of our more popular reticles, the precision shooting reticle, and we put it in this one because I was like, this is the ultimate long range scope here, man. 3 to 18 by 50. with 46 MRAD. Like, to put that into perspective, my 300 Win Mag here in Utah, if I zero to 100 yards, it takes me like 22 to get to a mile. So
Wow.
we're, you know what I mean? That's a lot of internal travel. So a lot of people are excited about that one with the new reticle option in it. So, and it's a little busier than the 4-28, as you can see. Same kind of concept, but it does have dots above and below each of the 1 mil line indicators. So, yeah. And then we have some, you know, ring levels, bubble levels, you know, 45 offsets, riser mounts, things like that. Also, some little things to add into the repertoire. But those are the main. Sorry, that was really long-winded. I apologize. But that's all the new stuff.
I'm loving this.
That's good though.
Yeah.
That's neat. And you know, we see reticles all the time, but it's rare that we get a reticle designer to actually give us some insight into what it all means, because I have to admit that up until a few years ago, I had not really seen anything more sophisticated than a duplex. That just wasn't the world that I played in. So it's been a pretty humbling learning curve trying to figure all this stuff out. So getting a little bit of insight as to what sort of madness goes behind coming up with the reticles, and hearing the explanation while you're looking at it is really helpful. Things start to jump out, like on the Christmas trees, the little hash marks. Like they started offset down below, and then the next one was up a little higher, and the next one's up a little higher, and the next one's up a little higher, and then you get to a big tick mark. And it's like, you know, I can actually tell which is which instead of having to count them, you know, based on where the location is. Just there's some really, you want to really get into some interesting stuff. Start dissecting and learning more sophisticated than a duplex reticles.
Well, and with Charlie in mind there, a lot of that came from shooting and teaching, you know, hundreds of people, you know, long range classes, and hearing what they actually want and what they can, because, you know, like, I don't know, I want an F1, you know, race car too, but I probably don't know how to drive it worth crap. So, you know, let's give me things that I can use to the fullest. And
right.
Something else that works perfect with what you're saying. About 3 years ago, I went to Brady, the owner, and I was like, we're going to have to do Riton University. We're going to have to do lessons online. And he said, what's the return on that investment going to be? And I'm like, well, we will never know, which is the worst thing the owner wants to hear, right? Like, there's no ROI. I don't have any idea. But I was like, he's like, but go ahead and pitch it to me anyway. I said, here's the deal. I've been taking phone calls for 5 years, and I don't know how many times someone's called me and been like, hey, your BDC reticle doesn't work. And I'm like, it's etched in glass. I don't know how it wouldn't work. But yeah, go ahead, tell me more. And they're like, okay, I got my 6.5 Creedmoor. And I'm like, hold on. That's a
using
5.5
a BDC for a 6.5 Creed?
Yeah, and it was a BDC for a 55 grain 5.56. It didn't have anything to do. And I can't tell you how many people, like many people called and said your reticle sucks because it doesn't work. So that's why I told ownership, I said, we have to educate them, or they're going to say our stuff sucks because they picked the wrong scope and or they don't know how to use it. So we have Riton University going through every reticle we have, mounting on ocular pieces, on what is parallax, all those kind of things I think are super. And we have like 101 level stuff that's like entry level. And you know, part of the reason I think this has been so powerful for us is none of us like to admit, especially us guys, none of us like to admit, like, explain to me parallax, you know, and then you're in the restroom and you're Googling parallax, so like talking about later. So, you know, if you're a guy, you've probably been there where you Googled something and probably act like you knew about it later. So, right. And you know, guilty myself. So I was like, this is a very easy way to learn without any pressure. No one's looking over your shoulder and like, you don't know what interpupillary distance is on binoculars, you know, and I do. So it's just an easy way to learn and understand things at your own pace. If there's no charge for it. So to your point earlier about the reticles and explanations, I think Riton University is wildly helpful to the shooters out there also. I
I think it's a really good idea. I agree
Oh
that
yeah.
from an owner's perspective, it's got to be one of those. Well, how do we know? But like as you're explaining it, I'm sitting here thinking, when we write articles and don't want to recreate the wheel, maybe we'll just link to this to
Yeah.
explain basics.
Mhm.
Like why do I want to try to explain it when you know it better than I do and you've already documented it all?
Or more importantly, we assume that people that are reading our reviews know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
At least I do,
Yeah.
We don't.
It happens to all of us. I asked Charlie a while back, has anybody been part of any level 1 long range classes more than me? And he said, not by a long shot. And I'm teaching with him. And I told him, I ask because I feel like I learn something every time. And no one's taken this class more times than me, but I'm still learning. And there's times where I'm like, yeah, I know that. And then the next time I understand it and I can explain it so simply and it clicks in with 3 other things. And so that's what we're hoping for here is just like fundamental basic knowledge that you can use to kind of walk your way up the ladder at your own pace.
Yeah, I think that's really useful. Good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that are buying an optic that now has a resource to not just your optics, but they might utilize university for whatever optic they buy. Let's just be real. But understanding how optics work, even if they have a basic idea of how they work, they can go learn something, and that might even open up a whole new realm of what that optic can do for them. They didn't even know existed.
Yeah, that's a big part of it is, setting your scope up properly, having it on full power when you check eye relief, making sure your fast focus, your reticle is focused properly. All these things make you a better, faster shooter. And so why not? Why not? Because then we flip the script and people love their scope because they're awesome. If you want people to love your stuff, make them seem awesome with it. There it is in a nutshell. Like when I use your stuff, I'm awesome. I understand how to use it. I hit what I'm shooting at. That's how you make friends and make people want to buy your stuff. If you'll scroll to the top again, we just did this cool video. That one right there, that torture test.
Yeah.
That was insane. We zeroed that scope, that 1 to 8, and then we drug it behind a side-by-side for probably 1,200 yards.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we got it back to where I was. So if you'll go to like the middle part, yeah, it's on there the whole time. No, I'm gonna tell you, that scope looked like crap. He punched him because we were like 1,200 G rated is like 46 times harder than a Mike Tyson punch.
Oh my goodness!
That's why our guy just got punched in the face. That was but we mount it right back up, and our ring and steel, just right after doing that. And then there's a follow up to this video where Brady puts what am I trying to say, GoPro on it and throws it in the air. I was certain I was going to drop that scope right then too. It's one take. You have to do it in one take, or people think finagling them. I'm like, my only job's to hold this, to catch this scope and mount it.
Yeah.
Right here, he says it's not your granddad's scope. I can't say that it is or isn't a Charlotte Leupold, but that's what he said. And then, he threw it up in the air and dented the crud out of it, and we still ran steel. So,
that's cool.
A lot of people are doing those kind of torture tests and showing off their stuff. So,
yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Or I feel like I'm dominating the whole thing here.
Well, that's why you're here, because
you're supposed to. Yeah.
Oh, look, you can see me again.
Oh, look at that. He's moving.
Yeah, he's back.
All right.
I went silent. I'm going to come back for a second. I was listening this entire time. One, I love when people nerd out about stuff, like when someone's actually passionate about what they're doing and they're like excited about it.
Yeah.
So this was fun, and I'm glad I stayed. I didn't want to just ditch out on you guys, and then I was like, oh, this is actually a great conversation. Yeah. Two, I love the university that's here. So I'm not going to lie to you and say that I know anything when it comes to optics. I've come from firearm manufacturing background, and now I'm more of we're an import, export, wholesale distributor. We're kind of a little bit of everything, but optics are absolutely not my forte. So I like that this is here. You guys did a great job with this, because like you said, like somebody asks you a weird question, you go to the bathroom and Google it. Like I don't even know the right questions to ask to Google things to be able to find this stuff, and it's all in one place. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah,
I'm here. Hey.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I hope the owner hears it, because a lot of time and money goes into those are high quality productions. If you look at the mounting video,
Oh yeah,
it's not just a cell phone. That's in a studio with like 3 cameras. I know, because they're all on me most of the time, and it makes me nervous because I'm like, I'm gonna look like I'm shaking. But it's good, high quality learning material, and I think because here's at the end of the day, people have been asking us for years. They're like, "What do you do different that every other scope company doesn't do?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said a joke at SHOT Show like 5 years ago. I thought I was gonna get fired. I was like, "Well, we take an aluminum tube and we put glass in it." And everybody laughed afterwards, but I'm like, here's the deal. We build the best quality scope at the best price. We draw reticles that are from what people want. We design the scopes what people want. We teach people. There isn't a better warranty in the business. This is a no questions asked lifetime warranty. That it's transferable, and it's a 48-hour turnaround. We don't have a lot of issues because we QC the crap out of these guys. So if you send us a scope, because here's the deal, everyone at Riton Optics is a shooter, a hunter, a shooter, some kind of competition, everybody. And everybody knows darn well it's hunting season comes up, and you pull your old rifle out of the case and you go to sight it in a week before you're going to go on your big hunt that you paid who knows how much for, and something's not right. Well, good luck getting your scope back from someone in a week.
Yeah.
Right. Or anything, your gun, any of that stuff. So because of that, we dedicated, the time that when we get a scope from you, we are going to have another one out to you in 48 hours, because things don't fall apart or go weird, in the most convenient times. So you're going to get one back immediately. That is something I think that's different with the warranty.
I think something that also is very different that you guys are doing, and this is not a knock on other optic companies, but it's just the world we live in. It takes a lot of time and money and effort to reinvent the wheel, redesign or design new reticles and all of that. So a lot of them just use the same old 2 or 3 reticles that everyone else is using. So how do you distinguish between the two? The fact that y'all are willing and able to not only try new reticles, but design your own for a specific reason, and then be able to explain it to people why it's an upgrade is really, really cool. Because like I said, you talk about, people say there's no more innovation. Well, innovation doesn't just have to be in the actual physical parts.
Right.
A reticle innovation is just as important as the glass or the body or tube or whatever.
I would second that. Into knowing how to use it is something innovative that not everybody has done, like detailed explanations on how to use the equipment. Listen, I have 6 kids, and the first kid, they just gave me that kid and said goodbye. I was like, where's the directions? How am I supposed to do this? I have literally scared to death. How in the world? So obviously people are buying things or having things with no idea how to use them or what's the right thing to do. So that's a great thing we do as humans. We write stuff down. We can learn quicker. We can let's make different mistakes than the people before us made. And I think that's kind of key to innovation overall, because when you know how to use it properly, then you can innovate little bitty things that make a real big difference down the road.
Yeah, that's really neat. I did want to, since Kat hung around and was talking about your brand, I went out to Global Ordnance and found Riton Optics is available through Global Ordnance. So
how about them apples?
Yeah.
Well, we were neighbors at SHOT Show, so we had to do something,
Right.
I've been around over there quite a bit, so.
No, we didn't see you guys at all.
Yeah.
We definitely don't have Riton Optics on half of our stuff.
Yeah. No,
definitely not.
And you guys should have some RX handguns, maybe.
Yes. No, listen. As soon as we got back from SHOT Show, we added we got a code from you guys, like an industry kind of discount code, and people were lined up left and right to get that. So we were excited to partner with like-minded, awesome people. So yeah, we had a good time.
Nice.
It was a good SHOT Show.
Good.
We thought maybe nobody shows up. We have no idea, right? Super scary to show up to SHOT Show 2022.
Yeah.
I guess. Because
Best SHOT Show ever, in my opinion.
no, you know what? People asked me. They said, "How did it go?" I said, "I think it was maybe a third of the traffic that I had seen before,
Wow.
but 10 times better traffic than I had ever seen in the past."
Yep, yep.
And I'll take that. I'll take that all day. So it was valuable, and they didn't even make us wear our masks. They got tired of telling us.
They tried. Day
Yeah.
one,
I think
they
I wore
tried.
my
Day
mask
two,
for
they-
7 minutes combined the entire week, like 7 minutes combined. It was just like when
Yeah.
I saw certain people. Oh, but okay, I'm out.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
done.
those guys were. Well, it's funny. Hoist Gracie is a good friend of mine and a good friend of Riton's. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and one of his black belts was a good buddy of mine. And he said, I'm worried about America. He's like, my dad said, go to America where what you say, what you do counts, because it doesn't count in Brazil. And he said, so I did. And my dad paid for me to get here, but we're here now and I'm worried about us. And I said, okay, I hear what you're saying, but it is mandated to wear masks. I want you to look around at what Americans are doing. And he looked at me and he's like, okay, America. And I'm like, I'm just saying, America still is the place. You're like, don't let it down.
Yeah.
You can't underestimate masses of good-hearted, intelligent people. They're not going to just conform. We're not used to it. We're not used to conforming.
We're not built that way.
And we have a whole lineage and all kinds of bloodshed so that we can not wear a mask if we don't want to wear a mask. So, and that's where we stand. So it was a cool moment because he's like, I see what you're saying. No one's wearing a mask. I said, yeah, they can mandate some stuff. Yeah, but who's over here making me put my mask on? Nobody.
Right.
They can mandate whatever they want, but enforcing it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, and trying to enforce things on the people of the United States of America, it's good luck. Good luck with that. That isn't a winning battle.
I was rather proud that the whole SHOT Show, I never even pulled one up. Like, I didn't even have one with me for most of the show. So they'd
I
say,
got yelled at a few
you need
times.
to put your mask on. Like, no, thank you.
I carry around a bottle of water, and every time I saw one of the security, I just start drinking water. They just walked right by.
Yeah.
I hardly ever wore them during shop, but I'd have to go if I went to a restaurant or something out in town. You had to, and I was like, and even you walk in and you see they're looking at you, and then you realize no one else is wearing it. So it's like, oh, okay, so I'm out.
That's why you keep a bag of M&Ms in your pocket for the airplane, or you're just one M&M at a time. You might get a little heavier from SHOT Show,
but it's like the family size bag, not the tiny one.
Oh, it's the mega one.
Right.
Oh yeah,
5-pounder.
I like it. Are there any other questions or anything I can answer for you guys?
What's your favorite breakfast food?
Breakfast burritos.
Really?
They can be all kinds of different things.
It's mine too.
Yeah.
I don't eat breakfast, but when I do, it's usually the breakfast burrito. Yeah.
Same, I'm not a big breakfast guy for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't eat till 2 or 3 o'clock usually. So
yeah, not the same.
Let's see.
How do you live that way?
You just do it. I've been doing
I
that
get
for
hangry.
years. Oh, I feel bad. I don't know about you guys, Jeff and Jeremiah. I don't know. If I eat before 10 or 11 in the morning, I feel bad. It's a physical, I can't eat before that or I'll feel bad.
I get jittery.
I started
But
I started this thing. It's called the Wim Hof method a while back. It's breathing, cold exposure, yoga stuff. But mainly it was really introspective. You start listening to yourself. And I was like, I'm eating in the morning and at noon and at 6 because that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not even hungry in the morning. I feel better if I don't eat in the morning. So for me, if eating in the morning keeps you from being hangry, then that's what you should do.
Yeah.
If breakfast doesn't make you feel good, and then don't do that.
Yeah.
But we get kind of conditioned right into I literally had this aha moment. I was like, I'm only eating breakfast because you're supposed to eat breakfast first thing in the morning. I don't even want it. I'm like forcing it down and don't want it. So do what feels
No, but I need lunch.
Awesome.
I get hungry by like 11:30.
Oh, I gotta have
You know.
lunch.
Oh, you do know. Yes, that's right.
Yep. Angry over there.
Friday, we're like, let's do a lunch, meeting or whatever. They show up at my booth. I'm like, what do you want? They're like, we're supposed to like meet and have lunch. I'm like, well, where's the food? I'm like, this is close. Let's just sit down and eat here. It's fine.
Whatever's closest. Yeah. Well, we've been
I eat constantly, so I'm not. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. All right.
Comments down here. I like this layout.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the other one? Where was it? Tactical bacon. He had me at the tactical bacon. Yep.
Tactical bacon.
Bacon makes everything better.
Yep.
Truth.
All right.
I agree.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. And like Jeremiah said, this is that's the one thing I forgot to say at the beginning is this is intended to be an interactive program, and the comments are the vehicle that is easiest for people to use. So we did have a number of good questions and comments there. I'm going to go ahead and make a last call for any comments. If there's anything else you wanted to ask, anything you wanted to point out. If you just want to say something sarcastic to Ghost or Cat, you can do that as well, whatever. But specifically anything about Riton, go ahead and put those out there now, and we can start wrapping things up while we're waiting for that. So I'm not sure I've heard AJ say anything yet on this show, so I feel like we all need to just pause and tell us what you feel, man.
I'm getting ready to say something. I just want to say I really appreciate your brand story. Growing up in the country trying to find a decent scope that worked well for my 25-06. It was a chore. It was hard to find something that worked well, that was affordable. So your whole brand story, I appreciate where you started.
Awesome. Thank you. I see a comment here that said Mill Radiant versus MOA. Both are great. Yeah. That's someone who's watched the Riton University. Because I was like, okay, MOA or MRAD, which one's better? And I'm like, they're both good. They're both great. Like, because everyone seems to have this like, MOA should be buried in the back where it belongs, or MRAD is only. I'm like, it's math, it's metric or standard. They're both fantastic. And so that's someone watched the video. I could tell by that comment because they both work great.
Yeah, and that's a great example of so a challenge I think any optics maker has, but specifically you in your position designing reticles, is that everyone wants the simple, Call of Duty. Just you put the little crossover what you want to shoot at. No one. I think that there are a lot of people who have no idea that there are measurements built into a reticle that can be used for other things. Yeah. And I'll speak up and say, when I was brand new at longer range shooting, and I'm still terrible at it, I still know very little, but I'm learning a little bit here and there. And it blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind to see how much utility there is. So I'll give you kind of the virtual high five for some of the reticles you showed that had some additional options, but were also fairly simple. So you can hand it to someone who hadn't studied it and, with one or two sentences, give them what they need to do what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, then you can be as complicated as you want. But like when my daughter was doing the 1,000-yard thing, I was calling shots for her for a while. And then after I knew we made some impacts, I said, okay, now go ahead and send another one. And she's like, all right, I saw where it hit. And I was like, all right, come down your reticle until you feel what it is. Come over to where that was and do battleship. Do it on the other side. And she's like, oh, that's easy. That's simple. I'm like, there's no numbers. There's no, I'm like,
yeah,
down over here. And that one, whoop, flip that and you're good to go. So, I mean,
that's neat. Yeah,
it's just, it can be as easy or as hard as you. And my 15-year-old daughter, I love that she'll go shooting with me. We took the day off school, went to the desert and shot. I chalk that up as a win with a daughter.
Oh, absolutely.
With any kid. So if she doesn't want to learn the nerdy stuff, good Lord, I'm not gonna force her down that road. She just go out there and hold 6 up and 4 left, and go ahead and send it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. All right. Why don't we make a loop around? We'll end with Jeremiah and then me. So AJ just said something. You have any parting words for us, AJ?
No, nothing new.
All right. Hey, but
it.
you had an opportunity. Kat, thank you so much for joining us. It is a rare pleasure to have 2 brands on the show at the same time and see them playing nice together. So you guys were neighbors once again. I like that. That's cool.
Well, thank you for giving me a little bit of space here and having me on the show with somebody that we actually like. That's helpful.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I like everybody.
Wow.
Not before breakfast.
Yeah. That's
Not
what I'm
before
hearing.
Yeah,
breakfast.
not before
some
breakfast.
food.
You get close to lunchtime, it's all out the
11:30.
out the window.
Yeah, 11:30 is the cutoff. We're done. Besides that, but thank you for having me on. Thank you for giving me some space to talk about some things that are pretty important to us and sharing that information. The Ukraine Humanitarian Relief Fund.
Bravo, by the way.
partnered
Bravo. Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks. We partnered with a local foundation, PCF, to collect funds to help Ukraine in any capacity we possibly can, mostly supplies, gear, equipment, and so on. So if you have any questions about it, globalordnance.com or visit us on any of our social pages. Hit up Gear Report. They'll tell you where to find us. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Have a great Thursday, Friday, whatever day it is. I don't even know anymore.
Thursday.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's it. Cut me off. I'm done. It's late.
All right.
Cut me off.
Thanks again for coming and sharing that with us. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
TJ, what do you have coming?
Oh, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of
Eric's
stuff.
Delta
Stuff and things, huh?
Gen 2 I got coming, and what else I got? The Diamondback sending me something.
Uh-huh.
And I've got
What do you have that's getting closer in the queue? There you go. Look at that.
See, I'm simple. Like all the other stuff you guys are talking about, gobbledygook. Red dots. That's that one and that one.
Nice.
There we go.
Yep.
That's going on the Delta.
Nice.
Nice.
Is that in 45 or 40? Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
380. No.
Well played, sir. Well played. Well played.
9, the Lord's caliber.
The Lord's caliber.
Yep. All right. So we'll look forward
I've been to range a couple times. So.
What?
All right. So Trey, the part of the show that we keep skipping lately because we're
I forgot about this.
So many brands. You know, this week at Gear Report. Oh my goodness, this is episode 100.
Oh my God! Is it really?
How did I miss that? Episode 100.
It's 100?
I completely
Congrats,
forgot.
Jeffrey. Congrats.
Thank you.
Trey's giving away that bag.
I thought this was going to be like a train wreck that we do 2 or 3 episodes and it'd be like, why would anyone watch this? But it's actually kind of caught on.
It's a beautiful train wreck. It really is.
It is. People can't look away. So, yeah, thank you. So, anyhow, Trey, I wanted to bring this one up. Let me get back to that screen because what we typically do on the show is we talk about reviews that have been published, things that are upcoming. We get into these brand discussions, and I sometimes forget to talk about them. But before you say what's happening on Ghost Tactical, do you want to give us like the 1 minute rundown of the urban? I'm going to call it carbine because carbine sounds kind of snooty to me. I don't know.
You're dead to me. It's carbine. It's carbine, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is one of those bags that Savior puts up great stuff. This is a 30-inch. This is not for your, 18-inch barrel AR or a long rifle. It is for a pistol, SBR, probably 14 inches and below when you start putting braces and all that. It is probably the best, like, I don't know, it's got so many options. I gave it a 4.5 gears, and the only reason, there's two reasons why I didn't give it 5. One, you don't allow 5-gear reviews, so there's
Pretty
that.
much. There's a
And
pretty
two,
high bar to convince me. I'll
right.
put it that way.
And here's another reason, it didn't come with an AR pistol.
Uh-huh.
If it would have come with an AR pistol inside of it, then I'd probably give it 5 years. No, but it's really great.
That's an AK in there, isn't it?
That's an AK pistol. Yeah, I want to make sure, because
When-
everyone puts AR pistols in there, but no one puts AK. It fits. It's great.
When did you become a communist?
I love AKs.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I in 1994, I went to foreign weapons training before I went over places. And when I first shot an AK full auto, it's almost as good as an MP5. Just saying. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Almost as good as an MP5. I love a full auto AK, but I like AKs.
Yeah.
But really, the biggest thing for this bag that I really enjoy, as far as soft bags, not now hard bags are different, but soft bags, or soft cases, I should say. This has a muzzle protector
I like
that
that.
comes in it, and you just slide your muzzle down in there, and everything kind of frames there, and all of that. It's for what it is, and for the price, it's phenomenal. I really am enjoying it so far.
Nice. All right. Well, that's one of the 2 reviews that was published this week. And let me see what the other one. We should probably let AJ talk about the Mantis Laser Academy, which I almost neglected to mention. I apologize for that. Let me get to that screen. And we'll, again, since we're late in the show, we're going to do like the 1-minute version of a teaser review here.
There you go.
That's your cue, AJ.
I really enjoyed the Laser Academy. Mantis has been around forever. I was at their few years to fully understand the system, but the Laser Academy makes a lot more sense for me because you use real targets and you get instant feedback on your phone. I actually went to a bowling pin match after practicing with this Mantis system, and I was shocked how much my skills improved just with the dry fire training that I was able to do with the Mantis system.
Yeah,
as
so
you can
I'm
see
going to
in pictures,
encourage
there's
everyone. I want to encourage everyone to go read the review and that story, because we do reviews all the time, and a story that was a really interesting story that had a good functional tie to what the product did for you. So I absolutely want to encourage everyone to go check that out, because this was one of the neater reviews that I've edited recently. So good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I had fun testing it. The results are amazing. Check it out and see what you think.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've had a Mantis for years, and it's great for training other people too, because when you tell them they're jerking the trigger or too much trigger, or they're anticipating recoil or whatever, breaking wrists, they don't believe you.
Yeah.
But that little laser, that little Mantis thing is hard to argue with. So
Yep.
that's good
And what I
training.
like about that also is I have the Academy and the Blackbeard, and the Blackbeard's for the AR, which I love that, and they integrate. Like pretty much all the Mantis products now integrate to that Academy, which is phenomenal for people that are looking to do different drills and see their progress and all of that. Phenomenal products for sure.
Nice. All right. Well, those were the 2 reviews published. Let's see. What do I have coming up? I don't even know what I'm going to publish next. I don't know. There are a lot of different options. But I will say an update for anyone who has been following the Battlewagon 3 project. I got the armor door skins on and painted the right side of the truck today. So we got a fresh coat of desert tan on there. And tomorrow I'm going to paint the other side and maybe throw some paint up on the cupola around the turret. And
is it going to be ready to go for the gathering? Is it going to be finished?
Even
you think?
better than that, Saturday morning, I think I'm going to go to like a local car show, and I think I'm going to sign up to be a sponsor for a year for this Cars and Coffee thing, and go. I'm going to split it with Ruck Rack, who makes adventure gear carrier that goes in the goes off the back of a spare tire, like on a Jeep, or out of a receiver hitch. I think Jason and I are going to split that. Let's see. So he'll spend some time there some months. I'll spend some time other months. But I had to send the guy a note that runs this event and said, "Hey, is there any problem?" Because it's in a town that's kind of liberal. I said, "Hey, is there any problem if I mount the machine gun on top?" And he's like, "What?" It's like, "Well, okay, it's a display gun. It's actually just an airsoft that we put up there for car shows and stuff." But anyhow, he's like, "Oh yeah, that'll be cool." So we may do that. I think I'm going to do that Saturday morning and set up some of my big tents or my portable castles. I'll set up one, see if we can't sell some of those huge military surplus tents. That'd be pretty cool. Kat, if you think,
What paint?
if you want to send, if you want to put some big Base-X tents and some of the stuff you're sending to Ukraine, I'll give you a smoking deal on them. If Global Ordnance wants to include that in some of the stuff you send. So let me know offline. No pressure. But if it works out for people and it helps, then I'm willing to sell them like a little bit less than what I have in them to help out.
Sounds good. Let's talk about it later.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Tomorrow, maybe. Tomorrow after lunch.
After lunch.
Right.
How about I buy one so the Global Ordnance doesn't have to buy it, and then you just send it to Global Ordnance? How about that?
Ooh.
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
We can work out whatever. So, all right. I think that
What
we
paint
are.
are you using?
I'm using the Gillespie 686 enamel.
Are you pretty happy with it?
We'll see what it looks like in the morning. I sprayed it. It was, and then I had to take a kid to swim practice. When I got back, it was dark. So I want to see what it looks like when it's dried. So far, it looks pretty damn good. So I'll finish the truck up tomorrow, hopefully. And then I'll post a bunch of pictures. We'll see what it looks like. But then, we'll have it ready to go to the gathering. Jeremiah, are you guys going to the gathering in a couple weeks, the Palmetto State Armory event?
I think so. I know we've talked about it. I have a few upcoming shows. I'm not at that one, but I think we might be there. We'll have a presence.
Awesome. Well, not awesome that you won't be there. Awesome if someone from Riton will be there. We'll get to hang out. I will warn them. Be careful around TJ. He will get you in trouble. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah. All right. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and shut her down. Thanks, everyone, for spending an hour and 38 minutes with us. Wow. That's time you're never going to get back. So thanks for choosing to spend it with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone on the panel. Jeremiah, anything you want to close out with? Anything that we missed? This is your last chance before we hit the button to shut her down.
Well, I did want to point out I have a guitar in the background like you did.
Yeah.
So that seems good.
No, here we go. Here goes another hour.
Yeah.
Don't get Jeff going on it.
Yeah. Grateful for the opportunity. Go check us. When I tell people go check out Riton Optics, like don't go check us out online. Like go to a store and like look through a scope, right? Just go pick something up and play with it and check it out. And if you like it, buy it. If you don't, then buy it anyway.
Then what's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's it. We're grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for being here. Please pass on to whoever approved Tony saying, "Hey, I want to sponsor this show." We've talked about you guys every week. It's been a wonderful relationship. Riton has been it's the most low maintenance relationship I've ever been in. So thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. With that, we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Thanks everyone in the comments also for participating. That really helps the show along when we get that. So next week we have a surprise. We have You know what? We're going to reveal that surprise next week. The guest brand next week is taking over the sponsorship of the show, moving on, and I wanted to have Riton on here to close out their run as the sponsor to show, it is not ending because of hard feelings or anything. We're just stepping on to the next phase there. So we'll announce that next week. After that, on the 17th. Live from the gathering, the Palmetto State Armory event, we will talk to 5150 Rifles. On the 24th, SCCY Sky, they will be here to chat. And I still haven't figured out who I offered the 31st of March to. That's a blank in here. I feel like we have someone booked. I'm gonna have to go through emails and figure it out. Advanced Shooting Analytics will be here on the 7th of April. And if you have brands that you want us to talk to, now's your chance to shoot me an email, leave a comment, whatever, and maybe we can fit some. We're currently booking April and May right now for this show, so get your comments in if there's someone that you want to see. Until next time. Get your fingers ready. This is something we do. I have to remember. I got to warn people. Here's what we do: we point at the camera. And I'll say, till next time, we'll see you at the range.